One rainy morning in a large city, a white van stops right in front of Harmon Development Bank. Inside the van, a group of robbers is already waiting. Their leader is Wei Long, a cold and ruthless criminal, joined by three of his men. Not long after, Wei Long tells one of them, Li Jun, to start the operation. But before they can make their move, a detective named Bo Yan approaches them. He has noticed something suspicious about the van. As Detective Bo Yan moves closer to inspect it, Kai Sheng, one of Wei Long's men, suddenly attacks him and kills him on the spot. After getting rid of the detective, the robbers move fast and enter the bank. They quickly take control of the place. The customers are forced to lie on the floor, while the bank staff are ordered to empty the vault. In the middle of all that tension, Wei Long remains calm, as if the situation unfolding around him is nothing unusual. Meanwhile, another detective named Jun Hao arrives at the bank to look for his partner, Detective Bo Yan. But once he gets there, he immediately senses that something is not right. His attention is drawn to a strange trail coming from a white van parked outside the bank. Curious, Jun Hao slowly moves closer to investigate. At the same time, inside the bank, Wei Long notices a female employee quietly trying to reach someone outside. He reacts immediately, and moments later, a loud sound echoes through the building, loud enough to be heard from outside. When Jun Hao hears it, he quickly enters the bank to see what is happening. But before he can go any farther, Wei Long suddenly steps in front of him, stopping him in his tracks. A shootout breaks out immediately. As Wei Long and his men try to escape, Jun Hao manages to stop them, leading to a fierce fight between him and Kai Sheng. Jun Hao almost corners Kai Sheng, but Li Jun quickly jumps in to help. Because of that, the robbers manage to break free. After failing to catch them, Jun Hao immediately orders his team to chase them down. And just like that, the hunt begins. This is Fury in the Shadows. Meanwhile, Wei Long is forced to leave one of his men behind, Ah Beng. He has been shot and can no longer keep up. With no other choice, Wei Long sacrifices him so the rest can escape from the police. But Jun Hao is not an ordinary detective. He quickly figures out that the group might be trying to escape using public transportation. Without wasting any time, he orders his team to stop bus number 12. Inside the bus, Wei Long and his two remaining men are briefly annoyed by a passenger who turns out to be a pickpocket. But once they realize the police are closing in behind them, Kai Sheng comes up with a plan. By the time Jun Hao and his team stop and search the bus, the robbers are already gone. The only one left is the pickpocket, now wearing a mask and badly beaten. Jun Hao immediately takes him into custody, suspecting his involvement. Once again, he is forced to accept that Wei Long and his men have slipped away. Determined not to let them escape, Jun Hao orders all exits out of the city to be blocked. At the same time, Wei Long and his two men arrive at a train station, planning to flee to another city. But their plan is suddenly interrupted when they learn that all train departures have been delayed. About 10 minutes later, Jun Hao and his team arrive at the station and begin searching every corner, but there is no sign of the robbers anywhere. Just as the situation starts to feel like a dead end, Jun Hao receives a call from one of his colleagues. He is told to check an alley near the location of the robbery. And when he arrives, he is shocked to find a victim being carried out. It turns out to be Detective Bo Yan. That night at the police station, Jun Hao's team begins investigating the three robbers responsible for Detective Bo Yan's death. The atmosphere is tense. Jun Hao himself is still shaken by the loss of his partner, but that grief does not last long. With strong determination, he pulls himself together and makes a silent promise to catch them, no matter the cost. On the other side, Wei Long and his two remaining men start to feel trapped in the city. With nowhere else to turn, Wei Long decides to seek help from an old associate, Ong Jian, who now runs a nightclub. In the middle of it all, he notices a woman he cares about, Huang Shu, working there as a dancer. She is being made uncomfortable by a man who clearly shows little respect for her boundaries. At first, Wei Long simply watches the situation unfold. But when the man's behavior becomes more intense, Wei Long feels he can no longer stay silent. The atmosphere quickly becomes tense, and just as the confrontation is about to grow worse, Ong Jian steps in and calms the situation. He immediately apologizes to the man, who turns out to be an important guest at his club. Out of respect for Ong Jian, Wei Long restrains himself and also offers an apology. But instead of settling down, the man continues to escalate the tension and reveals something intended to intimidate Wei Long. In response, Wei Long reveals that he is prepared as well.
来，打我！
Ong Jin panics and steps in again, determined to stop the situation from turning into a major incident. Eventually, the man leaves the club, but after everything settles, Wei Long quietly orders Kai Sheng to take care of him. Before anything happens, Huang Shu steps in and stops it, not wanting Wei Long to create more trouble in the city. The next morning at the police station, Jun Hao begins putting together a plan. He orders his entire team to carry out strict inspections across the city of Harmon, tightening the net around the robbers. On the other side, Wei Long learns from Kai Sheng that the man who harassed Huang Shu at the nightclub is named Chan, a property dealer. Hearing that only makes it clear that Wei Long is still holding on to his anger. Not long after, the atmosphere at their hideout suddenly turns tense when someone knocks on the door. Kai Sheng and Li Jun immediately go on alert and prepare to check who it is. It turns out to be the same pickpocket from the bus. This time, he is introduced as Eddie. Seeing him, Wei Long quickly comes up with an idea. He offers Eddie some money in exchange for his loyalty and cooperation. Eddie, who is driven by greed, is instantly pleased. Without thinking twice, he agrees to do whatever Wei Long asks. But the first task he receives is far from simple. Eddie is told to accompany Kai Sheng and help eliminate Chan. The order shocks him, and he begins to realize just how deep he has gotten into something dangerous. Meanwhile, Chan is relaxing in a sauna, accompanied by two women. In the middle of that calm moment, Eddie and Kai Sheng suddenly walk in. Without wasting time, Kai Sheng hands Eddie an object. Clearly expecting him to do something, he hesitates and looks completely overwhelmed. Seeing this, Kai Sheng steps in himself. Eddie becomes increasingly emotional, making the atmosphere even more tense. Kai Sheng reacts sharply, and moments later, the situation changes in an irreversible way for Chan. Not long after, Eddie is seen in very poor condition, barely able to respond and completely exhausted. Kai Sheng has clearly lost patience with him and now sees him as a serious problem. But Wei Long steps in and prevents the situation from getting worse. Instead, he tells Li Jun to take care of Eddie and help him recover. After that, Wei Long makes it clear to Kai Sheng that no one makes decisions like that without his approval. On the other side, Jun Hao receives a report about a murder in a sauna and immediately heads to the scene. Once he arrives, he learns that the suspect is likely the same group they have been chasing all along. He then returns to the station and gathers his team to discuss the case. During the investigation, they add Eddie to the list of suspects, believing he is involved in Chan's death. Without wasting time, Jun Hao orders his team to track him down. At the same time, he decides to visit Ong Jian's nightclub, a place Chan was known to frequent. There, he gathers information from one of the staff about Chan's death, and it leads him toward Huang Shu. Because of that, she is brought in for questioning. Jun Hao tries to get information about the man who helped her during the incident at the club, but Huang Shu refuses to cooperate. She insists that the man means nothing to her and that they no longer have any connection. When Jun Hao's team shows her sketches of the three robbers, she denies recognizing them. Even so, Jun Hao remains convinced that she is hiding something. After the interrogation, Huang Shu quickly warns Wei Long that the police are starting to investigate them. Ong Jin has already been taken in for questioning, but instead of going into hiding, Wei Long makes a bold decision. He asks Li Jun and Kai Sheng to prepare for another robbery. The reason becomes clear. Wei Long has a young daughter with Huang Shu, and he is determined to secure a future for her. It turns out that on the night of the nightclub incident, Wei Long had visited Huang Shu at her home. She revealed that she works at the club to support their 5-year-old daughter. That moment strengthens Wei Long's resolve to carry out one final heist. Without hesitation, they put together a plan and target a gold shop called Phoenix, which is holding a grand opening. Li Jun and Kai Sheng disguise themselves as security guards to gain easy access. Once inside, they immediately begin the operation. Meanwhile, Wei Long positions himself on top of a building, watching the operation from a distance. After his two men successfully carry out the robbery and leave the gold shop, the situation quickly heats up again. Not long after, Jun Hao arrives at the scene and immediately begins inspecting the area. During his search, he discovers several guns hidden above the restroom ceiling. One of his team members suspects the robbers might return to retrieve those weapons, but Jun Hao sees through it right away and realizes it is just a distraction meant to mislead the police. Elsewhere, Wei Long is already planning his next move. He intends to use part of the stolen jewelry for a weapons deal at dawn. But before things can go smoothly, Eddie suddenly shows up. After learning about the robbery, he demands a share, saying he wants to use it for gambling. Hearing that, Kai Sheng becomes furious and wants to get rid of him immediately. But Wei Long steps in once again and holds him back. Instead, he allows Eddie to take one piece of jewelry. Back on Jun Hao's side, he receives a report that Eddie has been seen at a mahjong parlor, placing bets using gold. After confirming that the gold comes from the recently robbed Phoenix shop, Jun Hao starts putting the pieces together. He eventually connects everything, realizing that Eddie, Ongjian, the robbers, and Huang Shu are all linked. Without hesitation, he orders his team to keep all of them under constant surveillance. At the same time, Wei Long visits Huang Shu at her home. She is seen gently teaching their daughter how to read. But when she senses that someone might be watching from outside, she steps out to check. There is no one there, only a bundle of gold left behind. Meanwhile, Wei Long is already back in his car. He calls Kai Sheng and instructs him to go with Li Jun to complete the weapons deal. At the same time, Eddie is at home, lost in his own thoughts. Out of nowhere, he receives a message from Wei Long, telling him to come to the hideout. Without any suspicion, Eddie heads there right away. What he does not realize is that one of Jun Hao's men is secretly following him. Even from a distance, Wei Long notices that Eddie is being tailed. As soon as Eddie enters the house, the officer quickly reports the situation to Jun Hao. But Wei Long moves faster. He gets there ahead of them and closes in on Eddie. When Eddie arrives, the place looks empty since Wei Long has not revealed himself yet. Seeing an opportunity, Eddie tries to take advantage of it. His goal is clear. He wants to grab more gold without Wei Long knowing. But the situation suddenly turns tense when someone knocks on the door. It is Jun Hao and his partner. Jun Hao begins questioning Eddie about the place, and Eddie nervously claims that he lives there with his friends. Jun Hao then asks him to call them. But before anything happens, the sound of a phone rings from behind, revealing Wei Long's presence. Wei Long remains calm, showing no signs of panic. At the same time, Jun Hao starts to feel that the man looks familiar, like someone he has seen before. Without hesitation, Wei Long makes the first move, and a brutal fight between the two quickly breaks out. In the middle of the chaos, Eddie tries to run away, but he is caught by Jun Hao's team. Meanwhile, the fight between Wei Long and Jun Hao becomes more intense. They exchange blows relentlessly, but it becomes clear that Wei Long has the upper hand. Jun Hao is eventually pushed to his limit and left almost powerless. Just as Wei Long is about to finish him, Jun Hao's team arrives in time to intervene. Once again, Jun Hao is forced to face the bitter reality that Wei Long has escaped. Eddie is then taken in for interrogation. Under pressure, he finally decides to talk. He reveals everything, from who killed Chan to the plan for a weapons deal that Wei Long is about to carry out that very night. He makes that choice because he no longer wants to be dragged deeper into the situation. At the same time, Ongjian is brought in for questioning by the police. When asked about his connection to Wei Long, he explains that they used to be partners in the same line of work. The police then ask about Wei Long's relationship with Huang Shu. It becomes clear that she is the woman in his life, although she has no involvement in his criminal activities. Ongjian also reveals that, as far as he knows, Wei Long is planning to strike again the next day. Meanwhile, Wei Long goes to see Huang Shu one last time. He comes to say goodbye, but instead she begs him to take her and their child away, to leave everything behind and start a new life together. Despite her plea, Wei Long chooses to walk away from that chance. He returns to his car with his men and gives them a choice: continue with one final job the next day or walk away now. But their minds are already made up. Kai Sheng, who sees Wei Long as an older brother, chooses to stay without hesitation. Li Jun also decides to follow, even though he briefly doubts it. On the other side, Jun Hao is preparing his strategy with his team. He is convinced that the next target will be a capital bank transport. By now, he fully understands the pattern behind the robberies. The next day, Kai Sheng and Li Jun move into action. They follow a bank vehicle carrying a large amount of cash. When the timing is right, they stop it and force it open using explosives. But it turns out to be a trap. The police are already waiting and quickly surround the area. A shootout breaks out immediately. At the same time, Wei Long positions himself on top of a building, providing support from a distance with a sniper. The situation quickly becomes critical. Kai Sheng and Li Jun are surrounded from all sides, while Wei Long begins planning his escape. But his movement is spotted by Jun Hao and his team, and Jun Hao goes after him without hesitation. Wei Long, always prepared, sets up a trap using explosives. In the chaos, one of Jun Hao's men is injured by a knife attack from Wei Long. Back at the main fight, Kai Sheng and Li Jun are running out of options. With no way out, Kai Sheng makes a final move against the police, but he is killed on the spot. Li Jun faces the same fate. In his final moments, he looks at a photo of his child before making a desperate decision. In the final moments, Jun Hao and Wei Long come face to face. A brutal fight breaks out as both men try to outthink and outmaneuver each other. They study every move, trading blows in a tense and exhausting battle. At one point, Jun Hao is pushed into a corner, and Wei Long prepares to finish him with a hammer. But at the last second, Jun Hao manages to fire his gun, knocking Wei Long down. For a brief moment, it seems like the fight is over, but Wei Long is only pretending. He suddenly launches a surprise attack, catching Jun Hao off guard. Even so, Jun Hao keeps fighting with everything he has, despite clearly being outmatched. In the end, as he lies on the ground with barely any strength left, he manages to cuff Wei Long. With no way out, Wei Long finally stops. Not long after, backup arrives and secures the scene. In the closing scene, Jun Hao visits the resting place of Detective Bo Yan. He pays his respects, honoring his fallen partner and bringing the story to an end. So the moral of the story is, if a random crime boss offers you money, don't say yes unless you also enjoy getting duct taped, chased by police, and accidentally starring in your own worst life decisions.